Welcome to Retirement Decoded with your host, Scott Tucker, where we break down the complexities of retirement planning to give you clear, actionable advice. Whether you're just starting out or getting ready to retire, Scott's here to help you make informed decisions and secure your financial future. Tune in each week as we simplify the process and decode the path to a stress-free retirement. Now, here's your host, Scott Tucker.
Welcome back to the Retirement Decoded podcast with Scott Tucker. I'm your host, Scott Tucker. On microphone 2, as always, is Associate Advisor Andre Hootie. Say hello, Andre Hootie.
Hello, Andre Hootie.
Andre Hootie, today's question comes from William. William says, Scott and Andre, simple question, I think. Oh boy, that's how they get you, isn't it?
It never
Famous last words. So William says, Scott and Andre, simple question, I think. This year is the only year my spouse and I will have no earned income after both retiring and will not have Social Security income. We are turning 70 next year and waiting. I think William and his spouse are waiting for to take Social Security. I have to rewrite these questions as they come in. We are turning 70 next year and waiting to take Social Security. Is there any reason we should not convert some of our traditional IRA into Roth this year, assuming we won't hit a higher tax bracket? I would say, William, strong possibility you should be looking at doing Roth conversion this year, even if you do hit a higher federal tax bracket, because tax brackets are going higher in 2026 and 2028. William continues, we probably need to get a financial advisor at this point and may just use blank company since all of our retirement funds are with them. The company he names, I am not a huge fan of. They have good advisors. The company itself doesn't let their advisors do a good job. So we probably need to get a financial advisor. And rather than financial advisor, William, you ought to look at somebody who has a planning lens that they look through, not just they're advising you on investments. We want to do planning here. We probably need to get a financial advisor at this point and may just use XYZ company since all of our retirement funds are with them. That's not a good reason to work with that company. The company names I don't care for a lot. You can always, William, talk to any financial planner you want to, and that financial planner can use the custodian that you name or can use another custodian. And so what your planner might do, if you choose to work with them, they could likely just have themselves added as your advisor on your statements, or if they don't use the custodian you mentioned, they could do an electronic transfer without buying or selling anything. All the stuff you currently own at that custodian zaps over to a new custodian. Your accounts are still your accounts, and then your new financial planner would be listed as your advisor there. But I'm still not sure I want to pay the asset management fees. We hear that a lot, don't we, Andre? People who don't want to pay asset management fees.
Yeah, we do. And, I think that's just, if you want good advice, that's just part of the deal. It's, no one's going to work for free for you, and if you really want things taken care of, you need a pro.
Yeah. I'm still not sure I want to pay the asset management fees. We see now, even Vanguard, even frugal, thrifty Vanguard, they did a study a couple years ago, and they found, and they don't sell highfalutin fancy advice. They give people a CFP for free, that kind of thing. Yeah. Even a Vanguard study found that a financial planner is worth about 3% per year on average to the average client. So you're trying to avoid paying 1 or 2% or something to a asset manager. They all charge different numbers. But Vanguard's saying that person's worth 3%. So you could pay something and come out ahead. Theoretically, mileage may vary. I can't promise that, but it's kind of like, Andre, I don't like paying the copay at the doctor, and I've already got Google. So on WebMD, I can diagnose myself. I can even treat myself without a medical license.
Yeah, why
I don't need a medical. I don't need to go to medical school.
No, you don't need a doctor.
Yeah, and then I can do it like if I was in Mexico, where I just go to the pharmacy and buy whatever I want.
Exactly.
Here it's harder. In the U.S. it's harder. You actually have a prescription.
Right.
William says, Scott, we have about $2.5 million in IRAs and 401ks and 20% or so in Roth. Thanks in advance. Well, so I'm going to restate what he said. He's saying he has 80% of his money tax deferred. Okay, so we have about $2.5 million in IRAs and 401ks. 20% or so of that is in Roth. So 80% of $2.5 million tax deferred. That's kind of a chunk of money that's tax deferred. $2 million tax deferred. And the part that you have, so you've got $500,000 in Roth. $500,000 in Roth, that's great. Why do we only have $500,000 in Roth? I'm not giving specific advice on this, but you've got $2 million you've never paid federal income tax on. And see, you're trying to not pay an advisor. Now, not all advisors venture into the area of tax advice or tax planning advice, I should say, not tax returns, but tax planning advice for retirement. The company you name that I don't like, their advisors are not allowed by their company to give any tax planning advice, not even to give advice on things like Roth conversions. So, William, I don't want to call you cheap, so I'm not going to. But yeah, just an example of where we talked about this in our prior episode, Andre, somebody else. William, a $2 million tax deferred account is likely to generate $2 million in federal income tax over your lives. You might be able to reduce a federal income tax over your lives by about $1 million, and you're trying to not pay somebody 1 or 2% a year to help you. And like I said, the Vanguard study said that a financial planner is worth about 3% to the client. So pay the 1 or 2% with somebody who actually will do the tax planning for retirement. And that's this isn't tax return stuff. This is the forward looking. You've got William and his spouse have $2 million tax deferred, and that's just going to cause $2 million of taxes over your lifetimes, give or take. If you could save $1 million, right? If you had the choice between writing a check out for $1 million to the IRS or put it in the shredder, which would you want to do? You wouldn't want to send it. At the same time, William, I have to commend you a $500,000 Roth. Good stuff. That might just be that you grew that to $500,000. It might be you've already done some Roth conversions. That might be some of it too. We're big fans of at least considering Roth conversions. I can't give you specific advice over the podcast. What do you think about all that, Andre?
I think one other thing I'd like to caution William about is something you might not even be thinking about, William. You have $2.5 million now, but 10 years from now, if your advisor's doing a good job, or I guess right now you're not using an advisor, but let's say things go well.
William, even you could grow this money.
Yeah, but something you may not be aware of right now is that Illinois' state tax, as it stands right now, starts at $4 million.
Well, he didn't say he's an Illinois resident, Andre.
That's true. I guess. We're in Illinois, so I'll use Illinois as an example. William, you are now an Illinois resident, so your $2.5 million very likely, in your lifetime that gets to $4 million or higher. If you don't take too much risk. It's
not unlikely that this $2.5 million. This sounds crazy, William. It's not unlikely this $2.5 million 10 years from now is $5 million.
Yeah. And if you don't know the questions to ask for, like what is the Illinois estate tax and how do I plan for that?
Or what's the Massachusetts estate tax?
Or
does Nebraska or does Maryland both have an estate tax and an inheritance tax? How do those work?
Right, exactly. Right? So, without a financial planner, you don't know what questions to ask. And so, to your question, is it worth paying an advisor? Yeah, it is, because you're getting into a very, you're getting into a large sum of money where you're going to start bumping up against different estate taxes, different rules in different states. So if you're not even aware of, we have clients all across the United States. We have clients in Illinois that are over $4 million already, and they don't even know there is an Illinois estate tax. Yeah. Most people in Illinois do not know there's an Illinois estate tax. You don't find out till you're dead, and then you're not here to know it. Right, but then it's your family or whoever you've left it to. Then they have the Illinois Department of Revenue is well aware. Yeah, they don't forget. So, and William, it's not all about us, right? We can't even help all the people who listen to the podcast if we wanted to. So, but you need to get a checkup from the neck up. Okay, so just go meet with a financial planner for free. No obligation, and have them tell you what's going on and have them walk you through some potential solutions. I don't have in here, William didn't say where he lives. So we'll just, the interwebs is the interwebs and the podcast is the podcast. We'll just have to figure that out later on. William, if you want to get on our phone calendar, 15 minutes for free in the coming week, and we'll straighten this all out with you. And you don't owe us a dime for it. Just go to tuckerretirement.com, and we'd be honored to talk to you and see if we can help.
we're pretty harsh on these podcasts, Andre. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a keyboard warrior, or what do they call it? Keyboard muscles.
Well, at least somebody's doing it out there, right? We're giving the good advice that good information that people aren't getting.
It's kind of like when people call up Dave Ramsey and they say something, and Dave's just about ready to lean into him. Like, oh, you call Dave Ramsey and ask if you should get a credit card at 0% for the airline points. You did this to yourself. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, William, give us 5 stars, share the podcast on Facebook, and we'll talk to you in the next episode.
Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. has a strategic partnership with tax professionals and attorneys who can provide tax and/or legal advice. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. A Roth conversion is a taxable event and may have several tax-related consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA. The views and opinions herein are those of Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc.